Hello everyone.
Hi! There is a full moon in Scorpio at 4 degrees 17 minutes, and it is making a T-square with Pluto. Of course, it's a very sharp T-square, and it is already a very challenging aspect pattern. And now first, Pluto is in conjunction with a fixed star called Altair, which is also a bit hard and a challenging star, which supports being brave and exploring, sometimes involving aggressive actions. So obviously it's been happening in fixed signs for a long time here. It shows that there is an issue that is bothering you, that is blocked. There is a big crisis that cannot be solved. There is a situation that cannot be flexible, or there are such stereotypes, prejudices, thought patterns, perspectives. And it shows that in order to break all of this, big decisions, radical decisions need to be taken. A big transformation needs to take place. Some brave, risky decisions need to be taken, and action needs to be taken. That is, to take very brave and daring actions to break such an existing order. So, of course, this is a bit scary full moon, and there is something I have been trying to explain in these 2024 interpretations for a while. The Pisces theme in the sky is very dominant, and this shows that all existing plans will be destroyed, and I have always tried to emphasize that destruction. Those touches of the fate and the moments when we are completely out of control, especially since March, and the sky is always like this. And Mercury retrograde is in Aries, and we have talked about it here for a long time. The things you've always wanted. Remember the things that are left undone, because right now the sky is so uncontrolled, and it creates a great freedom in connection with this. So right now fate has expanded all the possibilities for everyone, and the cards are being dealt all over again. They are being dealt right now, so nobody knows what cards they have. That's why we will act according to the cards we are dealt, and since no one has figured anyone out yet, a period is beginning in a world where everything is possible. This full moon is like a realization of this, and it shows that we need to be brave here. In other words, the sky is trying to make us realize that we need to be brave and take big decisions to change whatever is blocked in our lives and whatever is bothering us, and to act for things that will really make us happy. Of course, it's in our hands to act, so it's not forcing us to take action, but it's putting things in front of our eyes. There is such a situation. This full moon is telling us this, and those who are brave, those who take risks will really be able to create a great transformation in their lives. Of course, even though this full moon is a period of realizing this and making big decisions, it is a full moon connected to Pluto, and therefore it can affect even the whole period when Pluto is in Aquarius. Therefore, we should not see this as a simple full moon. This is actually a full moon that sharpens, reveals, makes visible the emphasis of Pluto in Aquarius. This is a full moon that makes Pluto visible. This is a full moon that tells us that Pluto is now obligatory, that the point of view, thought patterns, the whole existing disturbing, harmful order must change. Therefore, it is important not to think of its effect in a short full moon period, and not to forget that the decisions we make here will be the decisions that will affect and shape our next 20 years. Now, when we look at Aries ascendants first, it seems that Aries ascendants are experiencing this full moon in their income areas, and therefore they may earn well, but they earn less despite their efforts, or they want to earn more, or they want to be more secure in life, and despite all their struggles, they may still not feel at the point they desire, so they can't get past a level, a material level. That's how Aries ascendant might feel. To overcome this feeling and this money-related issue, they should realize that they need to change all their future plans. That is, they should change all the plans they have made. They will realize that to earn more, in order to be more secure, or even to be more successful, they will have to change all their plans, and they will draw brand new routes in life. There will be new plans for the future, new goals, and new plans will be made according to the new goals, and these plans will mean maybe changing their social circles, or removing people from their lives, or joining new groups. Maybe they will decide to get seriously involved in politics. Or maybe they are already involved in such things, but they think they are wasting their time and decide to leave. Maybe it will be important for them to join a group, to unite and take action. And they may take big ideas and decisions such as gathering people around them, or joining forces with their friends, pursuing big goals, combining talents, and making big projects. But in any case, they will face the fact that there will be no more on the route they are on now, and they will take these big decisions and take action. When we look at Taurus ascendants, the full moon will take place in their 7th house, and there is a pausing and tension in their 1 and 7th house axis. First of all, there may be people they care about. There may be rivals, enemies. There is someone who is constantly interfering, trying to direct them. Maybe their spouse may be trying to direct them. Someone may be trying to intervene and stop them at work, manipulate them, and try to stop them by demoralizing them. But against any kind of intervention or any kind of pressure, manipulation, Taurus ascendant is very overwhelmed, and it seems that they can lash out against other people. It seems that they can show that angry bull during this full moon period, and they are in days when they can act in a way that can destroy all their existing compromising, understanding, and harmonious images. They can appear very angry, harsh, determined. Make it clear so they can really show a completely different Taurus ascendant, and they can surprise everyone. And of course it means that they can remove whoever is tiring them, overwhelming them in life, and for this they can take very sharp decisions. They can end a partnership, a marriage. They are in that period. Maybe they will make a career change. They will leave their career, or maybe they will decide to step into a brand new career. They may decide to get married if they are single, or they will decide forming a partnership. Anything can happen. They can make very big decisions in their lives, because it is happening in angular houses. It is happening in their career field. It is happening in their image. It is in a way that involves an obvious change. That's why there are really exciting developments. But Taurus ascendant is doing it with a little bit of anger. There is a situation as if they feel obliged, and they are being pushed on, and they say enough is enough. Therefore, rather than making decisions, there is a little bit of acting with anger by backed into a corner. But right now, Jupiter is still in Taurus. Saturn and North Node are supporting them well. So there is nothing to be afraid of. This is the finger of fate. In fact, Taurus ascendants need to show their strength and bang their fists on the table. This is that period, and the sky is trying to make them do it. Now, when we look at Gemini ascendants, first of all, they live this full moon in their 6th house, and there is a situation on the 6-12 house axis. This shows that Gemini ascendant actually feels fatefully blocked or unable to move forward. I mean, they are constantly saying that I have found something like this, okay? I'm going to do this. But there is something that is constantly stopping, that is not moving forward, and it's like they don't know what to do. I mean, they think, is this the work of Neptune? It can also be thought as why it is not solved, why it is so directionless. But on the other hand, there is a situation as if they cannot find hope and light. Although there is very little time left, Jupiter will move into Gemini. Everything will become clear. But it just shows that Gemini ascendant should realize at this full moon that they have a fixed mindset. They are prejudiced on some issues. In other words, they actually reject some things without thinking so much, that they reject them without realizing it. Because they are full of previous knowledge, infrastructure, such knowledge that there are prejudices, and there is a situation like not noticing what's new, and the sky is trying to make them realize this, and change their point of view on this full moon. And Gemini ascendant will actually experience such an awareness, or a change of mind, that they will take decisions they have never taken in life. They will approach with an open mind the issues they are uncomfortable with, and the subject they will approach with an open mind is in their 9th house. It could mean settling abroad or returning to the country if they are abroad, or it could be studying a new department at university, returning to university, or dropping out of university, switching to an academic career, getting out of there. Maybe Gemini ascendants were very opposed to doing business on the internet and social media. They can enter those areas. Maybe they can try their luck on platforms they are prejudiced against, or if they are biased before, they can start their own business now. In other words, the sky is actually trying to break down a prejudice that prevents them from moving forward in life, and it will make them feel and break down that prejudice. So now Gemini ascendant will be really free, and they will be able to find luck, money, and success. In fact, they seem to have found out what they need to do and what they basically want, but the prejudices about the method are blocking them at the moment. When we look at Cancer ascendants, first of all, they live this full moon in their 5th house. There is a situation related to the 5-11 house axis. Now, Cancer ascendants are experiencing some uncertainties about love. In other words, since there is a sign like Scorpio, they are already experiencing some crises and difficulties in love areas. And because of these difficulties, they experience unhappiness. They have difficulty in deciding their direction in life. They have difficulty shaping their future. They have difficulty imagining a hopeful future. Or, even if they have a relationship, they have difficulty in experiencing the relationship peacefully because of the tensions in it. Or the crises may not end because of the children. There is a situation like there are reasons that overshadow such happiness. Cancer ascendants always feel like this. That's why they feel more difficulty in life, which is a reality that Pluto has been compelling for years. But normally, this feeling of difficulty of Cancer ascendant is a little bit due to the placement of the crisis in a pleasant area such as the 5th house, due to the placement of Scorpio. But all this has a meaning. The sky is actually saying to Cancer ascendants that there are many things you have postponed in life because of your loved ones or your family, and don't postpone these issues anymore. Start living for yourself. Make some radical decisions about yourself. Do manage life, your family, your loved ones. Let it be your way. So the sky is trying to push you to become a bit selfish. It says, look, you tried to adapt. You've tried to build happiness. You've tried to do everything. It's not working, so go your own way. See how they follow you then. And if you manage to move forward in life without compromising and say, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the direction I'm going in, then your whole life will change. It means that you have to take such radical decisions and very harsh decisions that are not expected from you at all, and that these decisions may involve common resources, or that you have so many family members, loved ones, beneficiaries, that you may even cause them to experience a crisis. But everyone will adapt to you. No one can give up on you. Don't worry, because Cancer ascendant, Cancer sign is very beneficial to those they love. They live for those they love. They add a lot to lives of their loved ones. That's why nobody can give up on Cancer ascendants. Even though you are making decisions that concern everybody, make them in your own way. Make sure that you will make the right decisions. Don't ask anybody's opinion. Don't listen to anybody. Don't make anybody talk. This is the way it's going to be. It's telling you to bang your fist on the table. In fact, this is what it is saying. You will make very important decisions. These decisions excite you a lot, and these decisions can be about work, doing a job, or it can be about going to another country, settling down, anything. So these are the decisions that you really want. Of course, these decisions will also affect your children, if you have any. And maybe you will feel like you are going for a separation, but on the contrary, you will be heading towards a serious marriage. When you are determined, everyone will follow you, and everyone will be happier. It seems that you will save your loved ones by being selfish in such a clear and decisive way, because you can't go anywhere by being in harmony with them and compromising with them, so you cannot save them either. When we look at Leo ascendants, first of all, they are experiencing this full moon in their 4th house, in the 4-10 house axis, and in this case, this full moon actually shows that Leo ascendants are very overwhelmed with being the ones who solve every issue, deal with every problem, do everything. That is, they are very bored with constantly looking strong and unshakable, and they are so overwhelmed with keeping up with everything and always being strong, that they are like a volcano ready to explode, as if they no longer tolerate anything or anyone. For this reason, they may restrain, distance, explode, react. There is such a situation, of course. Such a thing may mean the end of marriages and partnerships. There is such a risk, or they may suddenly make someone an enemy. They may damage harmonious relationships. Maybe it could also mean that they decide on a partnership or marriage because they are tired of struggling alone. But somehow this energy, this full moon, is based on the emphasis on being tired of constantly struggling, constantly taking care of everything, and no matter what they do, There is a situation where everyone is constantly doing their own thing in their own realm. And then it is up to the Leo ascendant to take care of everything and everyone acts like I am doing this much, and you take care of the rest. Then Leo ascendants will either react very harshly, or they may change their attitude to do it their own way and take care of it, but the risk of explosion seems to be higher. In other words, there are serious tensions related to relationships, and Leo ascendant will put everyone on the line, saying do as you know, don't expect it from me, to everyone who causes trouble, or if they are very tired of struggling alone. It seems that they may move on to serious collaborations and partnerships or relationships, a marriage with someone who values them very much in life and shows them direction. We expect great transformations in their relationships. When we look at Virgo ascendants, the full moon for them also takes place in their third house on the 3-9 house axis. The sky already emphasizes that Virgo ascendants are the ones who always think in life, try to act logically, always take firm and right steps. But this situation shows that in this full moon, they are unable to move forward because of taking such steps. They feel like they are pausing in life, and they are getting stuck and overwhelmed. In other words, always trying to do the right thing, the logical thing, especially in periods when the sky is acting so irrationally. Unfortunately, it doesn't give any results. It leads to being stuck. This full moon will make you realize that you are in a situation where you can no longer move forward, and you pause, and you will take very risky decisions because you realize that you need to overcome this. You will make aggressive decisions and speeches, actions that are not really expected from you. I mean, you can be critical, but you are not usually aggressive and tense because it shows that you will make hard decisions that can change your whole life pattern. Of course, this can mean getting a job, quitting a job, starting a business, closing a business. But it can also mean taking a step from an unhealthy life to a full healthy one, starting sports and diet. Maybe it can also mean saying, I'm bored with everything, and starting a new life in a completely different city in a new country. It means that you can make radical decisions that may be considered crazy for you. Because somehow it seems that logical decisions have caused you to be pausing in life and unable to move forward. Maybe, of course, the third house also means siblings, relatives. Maybe some of the problems you have with them may mean that you have to move away from them, to cut them out of your life, some of your relatives' siblings. There may also be such risky situations. Now, when we look at Libra ascendants, first for them, the full moon takes place in their second house, so there is a situation related to the money areas. The 2-8 house axis. They, of course, earn more in life or have good earnings. In the 8th house, there is a situation that shows that they can earn in the area of spouse, family, or risky areas, but there seems to be some desire to make it more fixed, permanent, to increase the abundance, or to make better use of these resources. And maybe there is hunger amidst plenty. They may experience a full moon that makes them realize that they are not enjoying life enough, that they are missing a lot. Maybe they are not enjoying life because they are stressing too much on money matters. So it seems that they are experiencing a crisis about not missing out on life, enjoying life, either solving money matters or earning more. In particular, they will experience a Pluto effect on adding such a color to their lives. So for example, if they are in a happy relationship, there is no problem. But if they are in an unhappy relationship, they may end it. If they are happy, it seems that they may want to spice it up more, spend more time together, make more enjoyable plans. They may want to do these things, or they can say no to their partner, who makes them unhappy. It shows that they want to be put at the forefront. They are tired of the troubles and problems in life. They may say, make me a priority. Maybe they will take up brand new hobbies. Maybe they will develop talents in areas they never thought of. Maybe they will decide to be more assertive in life, to live more for themselves, to show themselves, to enjoy life, to be assertive. That is, this is a full moon that emphasizes fifth house subjects. On the other hand, they may change their minds about having children. They may give up the idea if they want to, or they may start to want to have child now if they don't before. It may create such an effect. Or if they already have children, they may seriously encourage their children to liberate, to make them independent, or to take their own decisions, and realize themselves in life, and they may liberate them financially and emotionally. They can also do such things in this full moon, but above all, the main emphasis in this full moon is to realize that they are very bored with concepts such as money and being, or feeling safe and secure in any sense in life, and that they want to live freely, without thinking a little bit. Now, when we look at Scorpio ascendants first, there is already a very hard full moon in your rising sign. Of course, this affects you very closely, and this is a full moon that will affect your relationships very much, especially since it is in the 1-7 house axis. It shows that you will experience a very serious tension in your relationships. You may have very serious arguments and tensions with your spouse, partner, anyone you care about, and since Jupiter is also there, the advantage is in the hands of the other side, and they are very clear, hard, determined, and unshakable. And while there is normally a compromising and harmonious Taurus, somehow there is a fight and friction that may happen because of your attitude. There is a sky here where Taurus gets angry. And so it seems that you may get a harsh reaction from whoever the other side is that you care about, and you may be in an argument, and a big tension arises. You need to pay attention to this, but on the other hand, this argument or big tension will trigger a clear confrontation about your situation and a big transformation in you internally. In other words, the attitude of the other party will eventually lead you to change the reality you are in, change your plans, your perspective, your expectations, everything. Normally, Scorpio transforms everyone, but this time Taurus is so clear, hard, and determined. So the energy is on the other side. That's why Scorpio will go for change. Scorpio normally symbolizes change, but Scorpio first transforms someone else. The time has come for Scorpio to transform now. We have already said in our A New Scorpio is Born video that they were preparing for this transformation for a long time. In other words, that video has already been very popular and viewed a lot, and the energy there continues. Scorpio is being reborn, but in the process of rebirth they are cleansing old karmas here, or they are going through a cleansing to get rid of old burdens, and the sky is creating a very harsh awareness here. Scorpio ascendants will be internally shaken from the deepest level, obviously, because Pluto is emphasizing it from the 4th house. Those who see it in their 3rd house will experience a mental shaking, like the destruction of all the truths they really know. Those who live it in their 4th house can make much sharper decisions by saying, I really have to start from scratch, I have to leave my family, or I have to change the country or the city. I have to start a life somewhere else. This is the 4th house emphasis, so it doesn't matter if they perceive it like 3rd house, and it can mean things like marriage and divorce. It can mean things like deciding to start a business in an ambitious way. But if you are a very strong Scorpio ascendant, that is, if you have more than one planetary dignities in your chart, and you are very strong even at this point, even though you cannot get full Saturn support, then this full moon means that you will have a very big ambition. This ambition will come, and maybe you don't need to get caught up in it this minute, because Pluto has now moved into Aquarius, so it has peaked here, where you are getting caught up in a great ambition step by step, and because of this, it can also mean that you will embark on a very big business or project, and all your goals and direction in life will change, become clear. All your energy, your power, your Scorpio power will be completely recovered. In fact, it seems very challenging and shocking, but it is the first step to become that strong Scorpio because a new Scorpio is born, and they are continuing their journey now. You have reached that stage, and your energy is completely integrated. Your goals are becoming clear. But of course there are still some surprises on the other side. I hope that you are re-evaluating whoever is on the other side, whoever is in your life well. Otherwise, if you don't, unfortunately, the sky will give you deep crises a few more times. But this is the point where you can fully recover your Scorpio energy, reunite your power in life, and reach that power that can do everything and come out of every point successfully. In other words, your power is coming together again, after being scattered, so it is very important and precious. We have a very difficult full moon, And I can't say something nice even to the lucky Sagittarius ascendants. Now it is happening in the 12th house because we have a full moon with Scorpio and Pluto in the 6th and 12th house axis. But of course, as Sagittarius ascendants, your luck has returned, and you need to switch to more positive and Jupiterian lives. This is what this full moon is trying to tell us. What is it doing? It's making you realize what you don't, what's going on behind your back, what's hidden from you, or what plans are being made against you. So it's trying to make you realize all the hidden plans and bad intentions that you ignore, that you don't care about with a harsh confrontation. Because right now, if you still haven't gotten your chance back like this, and your life is not going very well, something is stopping you because you don't want to see out of good intentions, and now the sky wants you to see. So the sky wants to liberate all Sagittarius ascendants. Don't forget that, and even if this confrontation is a bit harsh, it will make you realize everything, and you will feel a great peace of conscience and relief to go your own way and be selfish. So even though this realization is a bit harsh, it is trying to make you say, this is the truth. You'll say, what do I care about? Why? And it is trying to create a situation for you that you can do whatever you want. In other words, you will not like what you see or face, but what you realize will allow you to be very conscientiously relieved and go to happiness freely. And of course, this realization will cause harsh conversations and discussion. There is a risk of arguments with family and relatives, and those discussions and realizations will cause you to throw off a lot of financial and emotional burdens. There is an emphasis that this will cause a great crisis. This confrontation, this discussion, this getting rid of responsibilities will also bring a great reward faithfully. In other words, if you make this confrontation and take decisions freely in line with this reality, it will bring a great chance, because that Jupiter and Uranus conjunction can even make you hit the jackpot. Don't think that you can't benefit this conjunction because it is in your 6th house. If the main problem in your life is work, it solves work. If it's money or health, it solves them, and it's coming with a big chance. So whatever it is, see what the sky wants to show you, face it. And if there is something you are doing out of good intentions, stop doing it. Give everyone their own responsibility. Don't carry anything unnecessary on you and throw it away. Then you will catch a great chance. When we look at Capricorn ascendants, it seems that the full moon will take place in their 11th house. We have an interesting relevant full moon with the 5-11 house axis. However, Capricorn ascendant is a very serious rising sign. And here, even though all these 5-11 house axis is like houses including pleasant topics for Capricorn risings, it pushes them to evaluate the pluses and minuses, what they have, how much they want, what can be real, because of a T-square aspect pattern in their 2nd house. And whether they are at the point they want in life or not, they look at this, evaluate the reality they are in, and completely face and accept this reality. That is, the situation now is analyzing and interpreting the reality, such as it can be more than this, or nothing can happen. This place is blocked. Anyway, Capricorn is our most realistic sign that does not deceive itself at all. And here again, you'll face a realistic confrontation and say, I can no longer realize these plans of mine. This place has become impossible for me, or I have come this far, but from now on, it is like this. This full moon works in the form of a confrontation about the future, or the consistency of your plans, or whether they will work or not. And therefore this full moon can create an emphasis on renewing or even completely changing your future plans. And especially renewing plans means developing yourself in brand new subjects, which is what Pluto is all about. Capricorn ascendant will have to improve themselves in areas where they have zero talent and don't even have an idea. They will have to improve on things they have heard for the first time, because for Capricorns, there is an emphasis that they have missed the time, and they need to catch it. And now this is a full moon that clearly confronts that they have missed the time, and that they cannot move forward with these plans anymore. But of course, as much as it emphasizes relationships, there is a situation of clarifying the relationships and knowing the value of them. In other words, if you have a relationship with someone that loves you very much, or have worked hard for your relationship, not postponing it anymore can also mean clarifying the relationship, making a marriage decision. Of course, it also means letting go of the people in your life who are holding you back or not contributing to you anymore. It also means that you realize that you need to change your attitude about your children, that you need to guide them differently and change your attitude towards them. For Aquarius ascendants, first of all, this full moon emphasizes Pluto, which I have been emphasizing since the beginning. The full moon takes place in your 10th house, but it makes a T-square aspect to Pluto in your 1st house. In other words, you'll feel and make everyone feel all the effects of Pluto that has been in your sign. This is such a full moon. This means that Pluto has made you intolerant, angry, tense. I mean, it has done it, and it will continue like that, and you may feel like you have no tolerance for anyone or anything. And therefore you can be very harsh to everyone, you can say no to everyone. I mean, you can fight, you can create tension and crisis, you can be stubborn. Actually, you don't have a problem to pick on anyone, but since being an Aquarius means asking people's opinions, being in communication, interacting with them, people can give you some ideas, advice, talk to you, so you actually have a state of tension because you don't need advice from anyone, and you don't have the tolerance to listen to anyone right now. That's why you will show this Pluto in a very harsh way, because it shows that you know very well what you want in life right now, no matter how old you are, and you have no tolerance for being interfered with and being advised, and you can explode, and this full moon makes these decisions clear. Therefore, it shows that you can make very radical decisions about your life, and that you will make these decisions without asking anyone's opinion, without caring about anybody. Of course, this may create a little bit of a crisis. You may not ask anyone's opinion, or maybe you are older and you may be doing crazy things in your industry and putting others in crisis. You may be pushing your competitors, your colleagues. There is also such a possibility. And the increasing clarity of what you want in your life can lead you to make very radical decisions. You can get married, divorce, start or close a business, change your city or country. So this is a full moon that can trigger you to make very big decisions. Maybe you have already made the right decisions in a very decisive way. You are moving forward. You can turn your decisions into even more ambitious steps that make them more concrete, especially if you have planets in any sign at these degrees in your chart. That is, if you have planets in any sign at 4 degrees, then the change you will make in your life seems to be crazy and big. But if you don't have any planets at these degrees, then it means clarification, decision-making, deciding the direction in life, and moving forward. But if you have planets, it also means that you will take those big decisions. So a great transformation is on its way. When we look at Pisces ascendants, the full moon will primarily take place in their 9th house, in the 3-9 house axis, and the T-square aspect is in their 12th house. Now, as I said, this full moon emphasizes Pluto. This Pluto in their 12th house contains great realizations and confrontations about life and order. Of course, the 3-9 house axis is already very connected with the mindset such as view of life, thoughts, ideas, philosophy, and in your life, you will primarily face this. Everyone is actually very selfish, thinking about themselves, enjoying themselves, doing what they want to do, finding excuses for what they don't want to do, and Pisces ascendants do all the work. All the sacrifices are made by them, and because of them, you cannot live your own life and do anything for yourself, and you see that you are manipulated in every decision you make. You are realizing these things, and therefore this full moon can create a state of feeling victimized, and what fate is trying to make you realize is that you are where you are now because of your own good intentions and because you put others first. We think that this point is negative. If it is positive, you already have something like North Node in Pisces or in Libra in your natal chart, which shows that you have to put others in the foreground, unless there is something like that. We expect you to be in a more negative situation, and of course you are in a victim situation, otherwise you are in a savior situation. In the scenario where you are a victim, you should be selfish, do something for yourself. In the scenario where you are a savior, you can realize your power and you can actually save others. You can do a lot for others and you can create great awareness in the lives of others when you feel savior. When you feel victim, you should do something for yourself. Make your own dreams, take action for your dreams. And when you are a savior, dream including everyone. Don't wait, dream for them too. And especially this emphasis is very important. If you are a Pisces ascendant who has not experienced the Saturn return, or if you are experiencing it right now, that is, if your Saturn is in Pisces in your natal chart, then this full moon is trying to tell you that if you close your eyes and ears to the whole world, to your surroundings, focus on your dreams, move forward in the direction of your dreams, realize your own miracle, because what is stopping you is not fate. People and their negative energy stop you, and their manipulation of you, and if you close yourself to the world, you can do everything right now. There are unlimited possibilities in front of you. So if there is a point in everyone's life where they feel blocked, paused, they should risk taking radical action on this issue. They should risk change. Because as I said, the sky is reshuffling the deck. So a world where everything can be possible for everyone, conditions are formed. So don't think according to the reality you know. Everything can change, transform. The winds of change have begun to blow.
See you next week.
Have a nice week. See you.